Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. Today I want to share something a little different, a story that's very personal to me. It's about failure, something we all experience, but often dread. It's the story of how I learned to see failure not as an endpoint, but as a teacher, a guide, and even a friend on the path to success. I hope that by sharing my journey, it might help you on yours, especially if you're feeling a bit lost or discouraged right now. A few years back, I was buzzing with excitement. I had this big dream, and I was finally making it happen. I started my own small business. In my mind, I pictured it all happy customers, a thriving shop, that incredible feeling of building something from scratch. I poured my heart, my savings, and every waking hour into it. I was full of hope, convinced that passion and hard work were the only ingredients I needed for success. But the reality was different, and much harder than I ever imagined. The first few weeks were quiet. It's just a slow start, I told myself. Things will pick up, but the weeks turned into months, and the stream of customers I had dreamed of was more like a slow trickle. I tried everything I could think of. I ran promotions, I redesigned my marketing materials, I even tried to change my product offerings. But nothing seemed to work. The phone wasn't ringing, the emails weren't coming in, and the silence in my little office was deafening. Slowly, that initial fire of excitement started to fade, replaced by a cold knot of anxiety in my stomach. I was working harder than ever, but it felt like I was running on a treadmill, going nowhere. The financial pressure was immense, but it was the emotional toll that really crushed me. Every day felt like a personal rejection. I started to doubt myself, my ideas, and my abilities. The dream that had once been so bright and beautiful was now a source of constant stress and disappointment. Eventually, I had to face the facts. I couldn't sustain it anymore. The day I made the decision to close down my business was one of the hardest days of my life. It felt like a public declaration of my own inadequacy. I had failed. The word echoed in my mind over and over again. I felt so much shame and embarrassment. I avoided friends and family because I couldn't bear to see the look of pity in their eyes or to answer the question, "So, how's the business going?" I felt like I had let everyone down, but most of all, I had let myself down. For a long time after that, I was stuck in a loop of negative thoughts. I would lie awake at night, replaying every mistake, every wrong turn. Why did I fail? I'd ask myself relentlessly. Where did I go wrong? Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. I saw my failure as a giant, insurmountable wall. It wasn't just about a business closing. To me, it felt like a judgment on my entire worth as a person. I was convinced I was a failure, and that feeling permeated every part of my life. I lost my confidence, my motivation, and for a while I lost my hope. During this really low point, I remember sitting in a coffee shop, just staring out the window, feeling completely defeated. And then a memory surfaced. It was a conversation I had years ago with a mentor, someone I deeply respected. We were talking about taking risks, and I had expressed my fear of things not working out. He looked at me and said something that I had completely forgotten until that moment. "Lisa, every failure is a lesson in disguise. You just have to be willing to look for it." That sentence just hung there in my mind, a lesson in disguise. For the first time in months, a tiny crack of light appeared in the darkness I was in. I had been so focused on the pain of failing that I hadn't even considered that there might be something to gain from it. I had been seeing failure as the absolute opposite of success, a final destination. But what if it wasn't? What if my mentor was right? What if it was just a part of the journey? That single thought changed everything. It was like a switch flipped in my brain. I went home that day with a new sense of purpose. I took out a fresh notebook and wrote a question at the top of the page. What went wrong? But this time, I wasn't asking it from a place of self-pity. I was asking it from a place of curiosity. I became a detective in the case of my own failed business. I started to break it all down, piece by piece, without judgment. I asked myself tough questions. Did I really understand my target customer, or was I just selling what I thought they wanted? I realized I had made a lot of assumptions about my market without doing enough research. How did I manage my finances? Was my budget realistic? Looking back, I could see I was overly optimistic and didn't have a solid plan for unexpected costs. What about my marketing strategy? Was it reaching the right people? I learned that just having a great product isn't enough. You have to know how to connect with the people who need it. Slowly but surely, the pages of my notebook started to fill up, not with regrets, but with insights. Each mistake I identified became a powerful lesson. The failure to attract customers taught me the importance of market research. The financial strain taught me the critical skill of budgeting and resource management. My marketing blunders taught me about effective communication and branding. It was incredible. The experience that had caused me so much pain was now becoming my greatest teacher. Each failure wasn't a dead end. It was a signpost, pointing me in a new direction, showing me a better way forward. Armed with this newfound knowledge and a much thicker skin, I decided to try again. The thought was terrifying at first. The fear of failing again was still there, but this time something was different. I wasn't the same person who had started that first business. I was more prepared, more strategic, and far more resilient. I had a whole playbook of what not to do that I had written myself. I started a new venture in a completely different field, but I applied every single lesson I had learned. I spent months doing research before I even spent a single dollar. I created a detailed business plan with a conservative budget. I tested my ideas on a small scale before going all in. And most importantly, I learned to listen to my customers, to my mentors, and to my own intuition. And this time, it worked. My new business started to grow, slowly at first, but steadily. There were still challenges, of course, there always are. But now, when I hit a roadblock, I didn't see it as a sign of impending doom. I saw it as another opportunity to learn, to pivot, and to improve. The fear was replaced by a sense of determination. I had learned how to fail, and because of that, I was finally learning how to succeed. Today, I truly believe that failure is one of life's most misunderstood concepts. We are taught to avoid it at all costs, but in doing so, we miss out on its incredible power. Every setback, every mistake, every time you fall flat on your face, it holds a hidden lesson that is waiting for you to discover it. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. It's about having the courage to look your failures in the eye and ask, what are you here to teach me? So if you are out there right now, struggling with a setback, whether it's in your career, your relationships, or a personal project, I want you to hear this. You are not a failure. You are a learner. You are in the middle of a very important lesson. Don't run from it. Embrace it. Analyze it. Learn from it. That pain you're feeling? It's growing pains. It's the process of you becoming stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were before. Remember, failure is not the end of your story. It's just a plot twist. It's a valuable chapter on your journey to success. It's the moment you learn what you're truly made of. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I really hope it brought you some inspiration. If you enjoyed this and want to hear more motivational stories and life lessons that can help you turn your own setbacks into comebacks, please subscribe to English Tailies. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next video. We all have stories to share, and I can't wait to share more with you. See you next time.